Rival Hillary Clinton in a flurry of tweets this morning. President Trump says, and I'm quoting now, everybody is asking why the FBI isn't looking into Clinton and the Democrats for stealing last year's primary from Senator Bernie Sanders. He ends another tweet writing this, quote, "Let's go FBI and Justice Department." The outburst didn't end there. President Trump went on to say this just outside the White House as he was getting ready to leave.
A lot of things, and a lot of people are disappointed in the Justice Department, including me.
Want to discuss the president's comments and more with Democratic Congressman Denny Heck of Washington State. He serves on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. So what's your reaction to the president pushing the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate Hillary Clinton?
I have a lot of reactions, Wolf. To begin with, I'm beginning to think that the president has become a little obsessed. I'm beginning to think he's a little bit like Captain Ahab and Hillary Clinton is his Moby Dick. Look, I don't know that we ought to be taking legal advice from a guy whose top two political operatives, campaign chair, deputy chair, are under house arrest. Another one has entered into a plea agreement. I don't know that we ought to be taking legal advice from somebody who's been sued more times than I can count in civil proceedings. I don't know that he's the best guy to be making these recommendations given his record.
Let's get through another sensitive issue. At the very least, should Democrats be looking into whether the Democratic National Committee supposedly rigged the primary in favor of Hillary Clinton? You've heard the accusations now leveled by the former deputy chair of the DNC, Donna Brazile.
Sure, of course. If that allegation has been raised and there appears to be some substance behind it, then I think it's worthy of examination. But again, where was all the concern on the part of the president when a foreign power, in fact one that is not friendly, namely Russia, was hacking the DNC? He spent the last year calling that a hoax. So the measure of his concern about the health of the DNC, I think, is on full display. He has none.
Your committee, the House Intelligence Committee, interviewed the former Trump campaign advisor, Carter Page, for more than 6 hours yesterday. Page emerged telling CNN he testified that during the campaign he did mention to Jeff Sessions, in passing, he says that he was traveling to Moscow. Based on his testimony, does this seem like a conversation that the now Attorney General should have remembered, would have remembered?
Yes, Wolf, but that conversation that he should have revealed and disclosed needs to get in line with a bunch of other conversations that he should have revealed and disclosed, dating all the way back to his confirmation hearing when he did not remember having private conversations with Ambassador Kislyak from Russia and denied having so, and some in between. So yes, of course it should have been revealed by Attorney General Sessions.
Sessions, as you point out, didn't recall this conversation or others about Russia at least 3 times, as you point out, during his testimony, various appearances before Congress. Your colleague, Congressman Mike Quigley, tells CNN he believes Sessions actually perjured himself. Do you agree that the Attorney General perjured himself?
I think 2 dots make a line, Wolf, and I think it is at a minimum worthy of investigation in and of itself. He said something that prima facie, on its face, is not true.
So you would agree with Quigley that he perjured himself?
So I'm not going to sit as judge and jury on that because I think there's a legal element of intent here. What I am saying is he's done it not once, not twice, but on 3 or more occasions, and I think in and of itself it is worthy of investigation.
The president keeps saying your committee, the other committees investigating, the special counsel, they have not found any evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign, between himself and the Russians, even though you're continuing to look. Have you found evidence of direct collusion?
Sure. It's been hiding in plain sight. When the email was sent to Donald Trump saying, as an example, we've got dirt on Hillary, want to sit down and talk about it? And Donald Trump Jr., this is not the father, Donald Trump Jr. said, yeah, let's do that. Let's sit down. I love it. Quote, I love it. That's prima facie evidence of collusion. Look, Wolf, the goal line keeps getting moved, right? If you fast rewind about 10 months, the president's line was, it's all a hoax. there was no interference whatsoever. Well, they're not saying that anymore. Clearly there has been interference. Then they said there's no collusion, and yet we continue to have these incidents where there clearly was communication and collusion between them. Now they're saying collusion isn't a crime, and they're saying, oh, by the way, but it didn't impact the election. Except now, Wolf, when we had the social media platform companies before committee this week, I specifically asked the question. I said, raise your hand if you think the 129 million Americans who received this content from Russia was without effect. And not a one of them raised their hands. So yes, there was interference, yes, there was collusion, and yes, it had an effect.
And yes, your committee, the House Intelligence Committee, and the other committees, they're continuing their investigation, as is the special counsel, Robert Mueller. Congressman Denny Heck, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.
Moments ago, the president going off on a judge's decision on the fate of Bo Bergdahl, who deserted his base in Afghanistan. Keep in mind, President Trump called for his execution. We now know his sentence. Stand by. We'll share that and the president's reaction. We'll be right back.